Hey, how are you? Neat. Okay. There's one more. Yeah. I think Al's too long here. I think Al might be too long. So you need one more. Let me check this well. Come on, David.
I was driving. So that's fine. It's the 8, it's around 8:18.
Appreciate you coming tonight, Mr. Dan.
Oh, yeah.
How you doing?
All right, you.
Good.
Work today?
Well, I'm working at night, but I just got out at 6 o'clock. So
Oh,
it was
okay.
at 4. No, I go at night. I go when I leave here.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Rocky Mount at their council meeting. They're done already?
Yeah, it lasts about 25 minutes.
All right.
Yeah, it was at 4 o'clock.
They ain't had much to talk about now. Is this their, what they call it,
Well, it's the regular monthly meeting, but
That's the
the
one.
second one is at 7 o'clock. Fourth one they at 4 o'clock.
oh, okay, got it. Gotcha.
All right, what's that? Let's go on. Good to go, man.
All right, you ready for the show, huh? Having one to do it.
They take what it is. What do you say? They say the word?
Yeah.
You do on here and start talking about Good night. Good to see you. Yes, sir. Good to see you too. Dance.
All right, how you doing, man? Good to see you.
Yeah, busy, man.
I know that's right.
How you been?
All right, hanging in
Good
there.
to see you.
From the city council meeting.
Oh, that's over already?
Yeah.
Oh, it's
That's
not
about
early.
5 minutes, yeah.
Okay. All right. Good to see you.
How you too?
She broke something.
This is all, you couldn't understand.
Hi, how are you? Good.
Yeah.
Hey, how you doing? All right.
How you doing?
All right, how about you?
Tim, what can I help you do? Your coffee? Do I gotta make it? No. Oh. I think it too. I probably don't make it strong enough for everybody. Me, that is. So.
I like mine that you can read a newspaper through it.
Oh, okay. Make your own. Gotcha. That's what I'm saying.
You doing all right tonight? I'm doing well, thank you. Name's here.
What?
Yeah. What's your name? Nice to meet you. It's Andy.
I think you're over here. Okay. Yeah, I think I just got one on the side of my Wait, yep. Yes, ma'am. I changed it because I got to look happy. Oh, yeah, no. We'll be running around.
Appreciate you being here. Thought you looked well, as far as with accounting, from the city hall, for a couple of years, but I've been with accounting for a long time, 20 years almost, you know.
Hey, Mr. Price. How you doing? How y'all? How you doing? I don't know if you got this. Ready to know this. Something that.
Okay, sure. Gonna be coming from the mayor?
It was supposed to.
Yes, sir. I sure will.
Thanks. So that's how.
All right, how you doing? Hey, how you doing, man? All right, good to see you. All right.
Hey, how you doing? Good to see you. Thanks for coming. How you doing? That's it, isn't it? That's trying to survive.
Like, okay. All right, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Everything good. All right. Hey, how you doing? All right.
Made it, didn't you?
Yeah. You was at the other meeting too, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Yeah.
Very cold. Hey, good to see you. How you been? Hi, how are you? Good to see you.
You get an agenda? How you doing? Good.
Somebody sit beside you.
Nobody?
And look, I didn't realize you put me on the agenda. I better write down.
Yeah, he said you were speaking. I remember that. He said you were speaking.
How you doing, sir?
All right, hey, how you doing? All right. Yes, sir. Good to see you too. All right, now.
How you doing, sir? Good. You doing all right? I told Dr. Brian it's much a little bit late. How you doing?
I just finished up tonight.
Changing plans, so we're coming tomorrow.
So they got this control system. You've probably seen the one that control all the miles.
Don't face. That's just, if I tell 15 minutes about it, you can't know where they are.
What is one's father doing? Putting budget for that too. It seems to be fairly, fairly intuitive, came in and get a few
I
bucks.
forgot who they said did theirs. I got their information from the office.
But it works good. They got two wireless mics ready to go. So when you
Virginia does the stage Auditorium.
a little bit of a lift.
You kind of see a little more of the crowd when you're up.
And it doesn't have to be much like this. That way, if it's not too tall, you don't have to have rails on it.
Some of these get nice, like the career campus.
Mm-hmm. Appreciate you coming, sir.
Some agendas in here other than these.
There's some on the back corners of
On the
the
back,
page.
okay, I was gonna
And
say.
I also left some out there on the table where Veronica had seen. Some out there.
Okay.
That's all right.
Some money. Money will take care of you.
You sit close to the right guy.
You said it's a good time to ask for some money. You said it's a good time to ask for some money. You said, are you all right?
They mandate them. I don't know, if out there, might be too late for us to do is have something.
Well, I think it's not it works. She let us use it last time. You know, I'll take her account.
At the top, He's over the stairs. Anyway. I'm sorry. I mean, the auditorium is in here with the. It's in London. Since the auditorium.
That's right, but I didn't realize they were gonna, that we would come after, this cycle. This is the thing, how it's gonna work.
So that's the one that is going.
I haven't talked. When it's come back. Yeah, no, so when it's back and forth, after this, she said, what kind? Because we did it in which one? Which one is that? Oh, that bigger one. Put it back to it. Thank you.
Ready?
Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for coming. On behalf of the Edgecombe County Commissioners and our county leadership team, I just want to thank you for coming tonight. And this is our first community meeting like this. We're calling this Our County and Your Community. We have with us tonight Ms. Harris, who is one of our city commissioners, and Mr. Larry Woodley, who will be a commissioner, who will be swearing in next week. Who will be there? Ms. Harris, Mr. Woodley, please. The purpose of this meeting is simple. This is to connect, communicate, and collaborate. We want to better engage you, be transparent with what's happening in our county government. We want to share with you some of the progress that we made together. And we also want you to meet our leadership team. We have tonight as much as our leadership team I've ever seen in one building since I've been a councilor. So we want Mr. Evans will have an opportunity to share and introduce all of them to you. Over the past year, Edgecombe County has had some exciting accomplishments and want to share that with you. That's where we give you an update on some of the things that we have coming to us in the future. This meeting isn't just about what we have to say, it's also about what you have to share. At the end of it, we will entertain questions about things that our staff has not shared with you, but things that you might have on your mind and questions that you might like to also raise. Again, thank you for taking the time to come. Your presence is valued and appreciated. At this time, we have a prepared agenda. I don't know if you have the agenda for you. We'll ask Mr. Evans to come in and introduce the team and take it off. Thank you so much.
Good evening, everyone. It's good to see you tonight. We appreciate you being here at this, our first meeting like this. We have community meetings in different ways and forms all the time, but we're grateful for you being with us tonight here at the community college. I want to say thank you to Dr. McLeod and his team for hosting us here tonight. One point I do want to make, right now we only have 3 of our commissioners, actually 2 of our seated commissioners here tonight, but just in case we have a 4th that comes in and we have a quorum of commissioners, I just want to note it for the record that this is not an official meeting of the Board of Commissioners. We will be listening tonight. They won't deliberate or take any action. We just have to be careful about our commissioners convening and it not being an official meeting. As Mr. Wiggins said, I'm Eric Evans, I'm the county manager here. I'm very happy to serve you and serve our citizens, serve our board. I've been with the county for almost 24 years and I've been manager for a little over 10 years and grateful to be able to serve in this role. I want you to have the opportunity to meet the rest of our leadership team that's here. I'm going to ask all of our department heads and executive team members that are here, if you will stand. And if you would, we're going to start over here to my right with Mike, and we'll just go around, everybody introduce yourself and let the folks know who you are and what you do.
I'm Mike Matthews. I'm the assistant county manager for Edgecombe County.
Good evening, I'm Natalie Best, I'm the deputy county manager.
Michelle Edridge, director.
Gloria Mosley, Edgecombe County Solid Waste Director.
Regina Mosley, cooperative city.
Scott Tyler, Director in the Edgecombe Solar Water Conservation District.
Teresa Lewis, Tax Administrator.
Stan Liverman, Edgecombe County Maintenance Director.
Jason Webb, Edgecombe County CIO.
David Battle, Edgecombe County Social Services Director. Linda Barfield, Chief Financial Officer.
Jeremy Spell, Director of Planning and Inspection Department. Michael Peterson.
Iris Robinson, Deputy Director of Elections.
And last but not least, Deborah Pickle, Officer Nate.
Well, you're not last, but you're still not least. We got some more. We got some more in the back.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Tracy Putty, Edgecombe County's Career Navigator.
Monica Hill, Edgecombe County Human Resources Director.
Tammy Faison, Executive Assistant to Eric Evans, and is up to the board.
Great, thank you. And we have other team members here. They're not department heads, but we have other team members. I'd like for the rest of you who didn't get a chance to introduce yourself. I'm sorry, we missed two right here, Durbin and Limbo. Oh, you did? Oh, okay. All right. Now, help me keep track. But other staff members didn't get a chance to introduce yourself. If you would stand and just tell the folks your name and what you do.
Good evening, Chandra Style, Accounting Specialist, and I'm also Assistant to Living Marketing.
Great.
Caitlin Hill, Deputy Tax Administrator. Lisa Morris for the Board of Elections. Jamina Howard, Board of Elections. Surviving the Fifth Board of Elections.
Great. We miss anybody?
Well, we do have.
Good evening, I'm Cynthia Staten. I'm Administrative Officer to Mr. Spell.
Great, thank you. Also, a bit of logistics. We will, as Mr. Wiggins said, part of this is for us to share with you from the county's perspective on services that we provide, who we are and what we do as a county organization. But more importantly, we want to hear from you, and we want to give you a couple of different ways to be able to do that. We have some index cards in the room. Who has those? We have some index cards in the back. So at some point, if you'd like one, maybe you don't like, calling out a question or making a comment, but you'd like to write that down and share it, please do that. Just raise your hand and somebody will bring it by. If you get a burning question in the middle of the session, just raise your hand and one of the team members will bring one of the index cards by to you. At the end of the session, we will read through all of your comments and your questions and try to answer those as best as we can. I want to, this first part of my presentation, I want to share a little bit about the organization that serves you. So, we provide services every day, but we do that with a vision in mind. And of course, we have to get up every day and come to work and provide the services. And some of our team members have been doing it so long they can do it with their eyes closed. But we want to provide those services. We want to serve you, our citizens, with our vision in mind. And a few years ago, we went through a process starting with our commissioners at one of their retreats. And then we pulled together our department heads and we combed through the feedback that they gave us. And we came up with what we call our two-sided vision statement. One side faces you, our citizen, and it talks about, all that we believe that our county is and can be. The other side faces inward towards us as the county organization. And it says who we need to be so that we can serve you and achieve the vision. So you'll see the vision for our county is that we are a historic place that values its citizens and natural resources and creates opportunities where people are proud to live, work, and play for generations to come. The vision that faces inward towards us is that we, as the county government, we value our employees so that we can be an organization committed to providing exceptional services to our citizens through an innovative, passionate, and creative team devoted to excellence, integrity, transparency for the continued growth of our county and staff. So that's the vision. Those are the visions that we are pursuing. Just a little bit of background. I'm sure all of you, you're familiar with the county that you live in, and you know that we have 100 counties in North Carolina. But just to level set, I think it's important for us all to understand why we exist, how we exist, and why we exist. As you know, there are 100 counties in North Carolina. We are a subdivision of the state of North Carolina. We are created by general statutes. Counties exist because of the statutes passed by our state, and we exist to provide services. Some of you think we only exist to collect your taxes, but we collect those taxes so that we can provide service. That's the reason that we exist as an organization. And as you know, we are led by elected officials. We have a 7-member board of commissioners. We also have an elected sheriff and an elected register of deeds. We provide all kinds of services, and this graphic here really doesn't come close to touching all the types of services that we provide. These are just general and broad categories, but we provide lots and lots of different services. We have 19 departments. You've met most of our department heads tonight, and in each of those departments, we provide an array of services. We do that based on an organizational structure. This is our organizational chart. Any organization has an organizational structure. We are a mid-sized county. There are many counties larger than us, many counties that are smaller than us. We have approximately 500 employees, 19 departments, as I mentioned. And so we have to operate under structure so that we can provide those services. And I don't expect you to be able to see all of that, but this just starts with the commissioners. You'll see the 2 other elected officials there, the sheriff and our register of deeds, and then the structure that flows under that. Now, underneath this leadership structure is a whole organization behind us that provides services to you on a regular basis. This is just the top end, but there's a whole machine behind this leadership structure that you see here. Interesting enough, in Edgecombe County, we are somewhere between the 4th and 5th largest employer in the county. This is an old picture. As Chairman Wiggins shared, we do have a new commissioner coming in, Mr. Woodley, who will be sworn in at our board's meeting next week. Reverend Hines, who is pictured here, the 3rd from the right, from District 7 here, as many of you probably know, is facing some health issues, and the board approved a leave of absence for him, and Mr. Woodley will be serving temporarily for during his leave of absence. Now, of all the services that we provide for you, our citizens, we can't do that without the finances to be able to do that. So we have a very complex financial system in this machine, or to make this machine work. Just some key points about our budget. Most of you probably know our tax rate is 89 cents per $100 in value. That tax rate went down a couple of years ago after reval. 1 cent generates almost $445,000. Our total budget, beginning budget for this year, is 82.6, right at $82.7 million. It was an increase of 2.5% from last year's original budget. So again, we are a mid-sized county, so there are many counties who have a much smaller budget and many counties that have a much larger budget. We operate from a number of different revenue streams in order to provide the funds that we need to be able to provide these services that you need. Our 2 main revenue sources are from property taxes. As I mentioned, our tax rate is 89 cents. And the second largest revenue stream is sales tax. So every time someone goes to purchase something here, at an establishment in the county, sales tax are collected. That helps to run this engine so that we can provide services. Also, it's interesting to note that there are several what they call articles of sales tax. One of those articles, it is actually done on a per capita or across the state basis. So in some cases, sales tax money is generated in another county and makes its way to Edgecombe County. But it is our second largest revenue stream. Our property tax revenue is approximately $37.4 million of that $82 million budget, and sales tax is around $10.4 million. Expenditures, we have expenditures in a number of categories, as you see here. You'll see the orange slice of that pie right there is public safety, is our largest category of expenditures. That includes sheriff's office, emergency services, and EMS. And you'll see the second largest is education, and then social services behind it. In order for us to provide the services, we need people to be able to do that. And our people are our greatest asset, but is also our greatest expense. You'll see there of that $82 million budget, approximately $35.6 million of that goes to personnel costs, and that pays the people to be able to provide the services that you require in our county. As with any business, whether it be public or private, we have to face the challenge of making sure that we have enough people on staff to provide the services that you need. We need to make sure that if you dial 911 and you need that EMS truck to come to your house, that we've got staff members, qualified staff members in place to get on that truck and come to your house. If you need services from social services, that we have staff in place to do that, or soil and water, or whatever it is, we need to make sure that we're able to maintain a reasonable level of staffing so that we can provide those services. So we compete with everybody around us. Every employee that we have, they are great employees, and they can go to other places. They can go to other units of local government. They can go to the private sector. And so we see competition from other employers all around us. We also live in an area in the state here where people don't mind driving 30, 40 minutes, sometimes an hour commute one way for a good paying job. So we don't compete with other employers just in Edgecombe County or Edgecombe and Nash. We can compete with employers from several counties around us. So we have to work hard to be as competitive as we can to keep good team members at the county so we can provide those services. In the last few years, that's been a little more challenging than normal, not just for us, but for every employer. Certainly as we went through the COVID pandemic, there was a labor shortage, and we had those challenges on top of the challenges we already have. So I'm grateful to our commissioners who were supportive of our staff at one of their retreats 2 or 3 years ago, when they were mapping out what their priorities were. Their top priority was pay for our employees. So we went to work. We did a total overhaul of our compensation plan. Not only did we did a market study and raise our compensation plan, we modernized it, changed some of the titles in order so that we can be as competitive as we can. And I know all of us who are taxpayers, we don't want to pay more taxes. But the truth of the matter is that when you show up to that building or you dial that number, there needs to be somebody on the other end to provide that service. So with the overhaul of our compensation plan, we have found it to be a good investment. We have been able to lower our turnover rate, and when our turnover is lower, we can provide better services. We've also been able to address some critical vacancies that reduces critical issues, and employees want to stay where they are valued. Now, we still have some vacancies. In fact, our HR director is here tonight and got some information set up on the table there. If you're looking for a job and you want to come work for the county, I would encourage you to check out one of our openings there. But we've been fortunate that we've been able to trim back our vacancy because of the good work that our board has allowed us to do. But, valuing our employees is not just pay. That's important. And any employee would tell you it's at the top of the list, but it's not the only thing on that list. So we sat down some time back and we thought through in what other ways can we show our employees that we value them. So of course we try to compensate them as well as we can, but we also try to train them as best as we can, encourage them as often as we can, recognize them as publicly as we can, and care about them as sincerely as we can. So we have a whole list of things that I won't get into tonight, but things that we try to do to make our employees feel more valued in the county. We also, not only do we provide services directly to you, our citizens, we also partner with outside agencies who provide services. Some of those partnerships are dictated by state statute. For example, we have here tonight, and you'll get to hear from these two gentlemen tonight, Dr. McLeod from the community college and Dr. Bryan from the school system. Counties are required to provide funding to both the community college and the school system. But we have other outside agencies that we work with that we're not required to provide funding, but we determine that is helpful and necessary to the services we need to provide to our citizens, that we partner with them. This slide here shows you our outside agencies that receive the most or the largest allocations from the county. You can see the school system, community college, Caroline's Gateway Partnership, which is our economic development organization, Nash County Schools. We still have some students here in Rocky Mount that are finishing their high school years, even though we've done the county line merger. So we still provide some funding to Nash County Schools, and then to Edgecombe County Memorial Library. We also have, in all of the services that we provide, most of them are services that we are required to provide by the state. We're required to either provide them directly ourselves, or we have to provide it through an agreement with someone else. But then there are certain things that we do as a county that we're not required, but we do it as what's called an enterprise fund. And for us, and for most counties that have enterprise funds, those two enterprises are solid waste and water and sewer, or utilities. So solid waste, you got a chance to meet our solid waste director a few minutes ago. We have a solid waste transfer station, we have a C&D landfill, and we have 9 convenience sites, recycling centers that are scattered across the county. That is the goal is for that service to cover its costs, right? And so we're not quite doing that in solid waste, but we're working on moving in that direction. But that is an enterprise fund that we provide. Also in utilities, you should be proud as Edgecombe County residents that we are unique compared to rural counties in North Carolina. Most rural counties in North Carolina do not have a water and sewer system like we have in Edgecombe County. Approximately 90% of the county by area is covered in county water. Some of you may be water customers. Many of you live here in Rocky Mount, so your utilities come from the city of Rocky Mount. There are very few counties like Edgecombe that have such a developed water and sewer system like we have in Edgecombe County. It has been a long haul to get to this point. Our board has been committed to this. We've been able to do that because of a lot of grant funds that we have been able to get, some loans, but some grant funds. And so we're able to provide that enterprise fund. Now, I was telling someone not too long ago that I guess I had been manager for about 6 months and was contemplating all of the responsibilities that I have, that we have from county government. And then it dawned on me one morning as I was standing there in my office in the building, I work in the admin building, that we have a huge responsibility for the facilities that the county owns. It's a very important responsibility, and we have to take that very seriously. You got a chance to meet earlier Mr. Stan Liverman, who is our maintenance director. He and his team do a fantastic job of maintaining our facilities and also making sure that the things need to be repaired, that we do that. But it's a very important responsibility that we have. We have 21 buildings under the county's responsibility, almost 395,000 square feet under roof. Our oldest building was built in 1912. It is the original, it is connected to our Human Services building. If you're familiar with where our Human Services building is in Tarboro, it's three-story red brick building on St. James Street. It's right next to it. Is actually connected. It was the original home office for Carolina Telephone and Telegraph Company. The county bought those two buildings. The phone company sold it to the county, I think, back in 2012. And in fact, we're getting ready to do some renovations on that building. And our newest building is being built right now. It is our new animal shelter in Tarboro on Anaconda Road. That will be our newest building. You know, not only is this a big responsibility for us because these are buildings that we work in and these are buildings that we serve you in, but also these buildings are key figures in our community. These are key buildings that everybody knows, and everybody say, yeah, you know, go down past the courthouse. Everybody knows where the courthouse is, where the admin building is, the human services building. You know, here in Rocky Mount, we have a health department office here in Rocky Mount. You met Michelle Etheridge, our health director, and we have a DSS office here. You met Miss Betty Battle. We have an office here on Fairview Road. We also have an EMS station. We call it EMS 500 that's out on Meadowbrook Road. So it's very important, the buildings that we own and that we have to take care of. This is an aerial photo of our solid waste transfer station that is on Colonial Road outside of Tarboro. You can see the transfer station right there in the middle we have a convenience site located there. Municipal solid waste comes to that building that's there on the back left, and it's put on a trailer and it's sent to a regional landfill in Bertie County. If you're facing this, if you were standing there on Colonial Road facing this, behind you is our C&D landfill. And then this is a architectural rendering of our new animal shelter that, as I mentioned, is under construction, and we expect it to be completed within the next couple of months. So I'm going to stop here for a moment before I sit down. Does anybody have any questions at this point? I know that sounds like county government 101, but you need to understand how your county government works to serve you. Anybody have any questions you'd like to write down? We could pass you an index card if you like. Right over here if y'all have any. Did you want to call your question out, ma'am, or you want to write it down?
The expansion of the animal shelter, when you expand your service, or you want to expand the type of services within the facility?
It will generally be the same services provided, but as you would understand, we have a much smaller shelter now. It's served us for a long time, but it's really small. And so because of that, unfortunately, because we have very, very limited space, the sheriff's staff there, they're not able to keep animals there very long. If they're not able to have them adopted out, and they try to keep them as long as they can because of space, unfortunately, they have to euthanize them. This will give us much more capacity there. It will also give us capacity such that if we have an emergency situation, I hope we don't, but if we have an emergency situation like we saw back with Hurricane Floyd, Hurricane Matthew, people who can't, have to leave and evacuate, need to bring their animals in, we're able to handle more animals here at this shelter. Good question. Yes, ma'am.
I have a question concerning the Edgecombe County Sheriff Department and why it seems that they can't get a raise.
Why they can't what, ma'am? I'm sorry. Good question. I will say that they have gotten raises. I would probably make an error if I stood here and not having that information in front of me. But I'll give you an example. So last fiscal year, as I mentioned earlier, we did the compensation plan. We overhauled our compensation plan. And when we did that, salaries were elevated across the board. And people got, depending on the type of position they had, got increases. We did that in the first phase. In the second phase, we weren't able to close the gap from where we were to where the market was around us based on that market study. So we tried to break it up in phases. So on the second phase, we felt like the most that we could afford to be able to give to staff was another 5% increase. At that time, the board voted to give the sheriff's staff 10%. So they got more than the rest of the staff at the time. Certainly, I understand they do a fantastic job. And then this past year, all of us got a minimal cost of living increase. So they have gotten some increases at the sheriff's office. Yes, ma'am.
Who owns the industrial park?
The county does. Good question.
I didn't see it in your presentation.
We're going to talk about that a little bit later, but Kingsborough Industrial Park is right at 2,000 acres that Edgecombe County, you, the citizens, own approximately 2,000 acres there at Kingsborough Industrial Park. Great question. All right. Okay, so at this point, I'm going to, yes.
I got a question, that been asked of me. Who will run the animal shelter?
The sheriff will, his team will run the animal shelter.
Okay, so therefore, it'll be directed from his office, or I'm saying, explain.
It will be staff from his office. The current animal shelter is under the sheriff's management. The staff that operate the shelter, they work for the sheriff. Animal control office, they're sheriff's office staff. Okay. All right. I'm going to invite up Dr. Andrew Bryan, who is our esteemed superintendent here at Edgecombe County Schools. Y'all make him feel welcome.
Thanks. Good evening. Good to see everyone. Appreciate the introduction, Mr. Evans. Andy Bryan, superintendent. Been proud superintendent of Edgecombe County Public Schools since September of 2023. Pleasure to be here tonight. And what I'd like to start off with, I have no PowerPoint, so just like to talk a little bit about where we are as a school district. And what I try to offer are contrasts. I try to offer contrasts about where we think we're moving in the right direction, and also talk about things where we think we need to improve with things. So this past year, well, before I do that, let me do one other thing first. Before I do that, I want to introduce my board chair who's here tonight, Dr. Evelyn Wilson. Appreciate her being here. Appreciate her leadership and the leadership of our board and what they commit to trying to make sure that support our schools and most importantly our students and staff within our schools. So very appreciative of that. So what I'd like to start out with is sort of a contrast of where we are. As many of you probably already know, the state tries to put grades and indicators in place to determine where school districts are. So in this past year, 14 of our 18 schools that were measured for accountability met or exceeded growth in the state, which is very positive. About 77% for our schools compared to about 71% for the state average. On the other side of that, because of the formula that the state uses, it's based on 80% proficiency, 20% growth. We had 12 of 18 students who didn't meet the standard there and were deemed low performing. So we have work there to make up with proficiency for our students. On the flip side of that, 2 years ago, our graduation rate as a school district was 76.8%. This past year, our graduation rate is now 81.6%. So we've improved nearly 5% for our graduation rate. And for those of you who don't know, I'm gonna try not to talk in educational jargon tonight and keep it really plain. What that means, that measures is the number of students who enter in 9th grade and then 4 years later graduate on time. Now, some of those students eventually graduate 5 years later. Some of those students transfer to other places. Unfortunately, some students drop out. And those are the students that we really try to make sure we have an avenue for them to be successful in school along with all of our other students. And I'll come back to that in just a moment. The other thing that I'll talk about, some of the other indicators that we feel like are moving in the right direction. Our ACT composite has improved from about 14.8% to about 15.8%, up nearly a percentage point, which is great. Contrast that, though, we're still behind the state by about 3 points on that. So what we've tried to do is we've implemented a very much more intensive ACT program at our high school level to try to help our students improve, because that's a great gateway in many respects for students to be successful and to move on. We've also done a lot of work with FAFSA completion. Now, unless you have a student in high school who is getting ready to graduate or has just graduated, you might not know the FAFSA is what students fill out to ensure that they get some of the financial aid support that they need coming to them to go to college. The other important research point about FAFSA completion, though, is that if students complete the FAFSA, they're more likely to enroll in school, post-secondary school, and then complete their degree. So we've done a lot of work on that over the last year. Our good friends from My Future NC, one of which is here tonight, Brett, say hello over there. We were able to have a grant from them over the past year to work on that. And we've been able to improve our FAFSA completion rate from about 52% to about 64%, which is a significant increase over the past year, which means that our students are really focused on trying to look at that post-secondary opportunities that are out there for them. That can be a 4-year college or university. It can be our local community college. It can be all kinds of different things that can apply to that. So we're very, very excited about that. The other thing that we like to really focus on is post-secondary support to ensure students are successful. Because not every student is going to go to a 4-year university. Not every student is going to go straight to the community college. Some are going to go into the military. Some are going to go into the workforce. So we try to make sure that students have a path to pursue the passion that they want to pursue. And that's really important. In the last 2 years, we've been able to increase the number of credentials that students have earned from 491 2 years ago to just over 1,450 this past graduating class. Now, credentials are those business certified items that businesses, community colleges, various places look for to see that a student is qualified to be successful, either to go into the workforce or to pursue other education. And that's really important. Those are things that we really try to focus on to ensure students are being successful. So what are we doing to try to improve things for our students, and what does that look like? What is the picture of where we're trying to go as a school district? And I sort of categorize that into a few different areas. The bedrock of everything that we do and all the things that we try to accomplish, we believe starts with literacy. And that starts at pre-K through 3, and we all have heard the statistics on 3rd grade and trying to make sure students are able to read at grade level by then. And throughout the schooling to support literacy. We also believe there has to be a tremendous attention to math and science and developing core instruction that students need. That means that we have to try to do the very best we can to recruit and retain the very best teachers. In September 2023, day 1 of school, we had 29 teacher vacancies in the school district. This past year, as we started, we had 8 vacancies. And I think that comes from a lot of intentional work, as Mr. Evans was referring to, about trying to recruit and retain people, find teachers that can come in and teach our students. Because if all else, you take everything else away, having a qualified, great teacher in the classroom is what makes the difference. And as I was walking in the door as superintendent back in September 2023, Board of Commissioners had done an outstanding job of helping us increase the local supplement for our employees, for teachers, and it makes a difference, just as it does in local government as well. One of the other things we try to really focus on is core instruction and trying to make sure that we are aligned to state standards and we are using methods in the classroom that engage students. As you can imagine, and some of you all might have this same problem sometimes, with all the technology that's available out there, it's really hard to be engaged all the time. And there are distractions and all kinds of things like that. We have to make sure that we're designing instruction that's hands-on and really there for students, that they're engaged in what they're trying to do. The other thing that we really want to focus on is graduation rate. Not just graduation rate, but what students are doing in school to provide value for them once they leave and what their plans are for leaving high school. We would really like to change the conversation from not whether students are graduating from high school, but what are they graduating from high school with? What is the value of their diploma? A credential, a certification, something that will help them beyond high school so they can be successful. A couple other things we're going to try to focus on is additional support for students. There's a true mental health gap and problem in our society today. And we see that every day in our classrooms. We see that every day in our schools. And it is a tremendous, tremendous issue that we have to deal with. And we try to put a number of things in place to support students to make them feel like that they're wanted. We have advisory programs at each of our high schools now. I want to say advisory. I don't mean just school counselors. I also mean when teachers can support students. We also have mental health support that's built in around that for students. I'm trying to make sure that they feel like that they're part of something that's important to them. We feel like that's really important. And finally, we really believe in workforce development. And I know there's probably going to be some discussion tonight about economic development and what that means to the county, how important that is. We are part of the first cohort group in the state of North Carolina, program sponsored by Department of Public Instruction, Battelle, AASA, and several ETS and several other groups. Our career and technical education teachers were trained in the last month and a half about supporting students, how to teach them durable skills. And for some of you, durable skills is something you probably refer to as soft skills sometimes, where students know how to collaborate with each other, team with each other, communicate with each other. Those skills that we sometimes take for granted, but a lot of times that our students have not been taught those things, maybe like they were a decade ago or 20 years ago. And we're trying to embed that into the curriculum that we have so that students can learn those things. It really makes a difference for students, whether they're going into the workforce or staying in education, 2-year university, 2-year program, 4-year university. Like I said, we have a lot of things going on right now from trying to support students, having great instruction in the classroom, trying to support students with additional help and feel like that they're wanted and a part of things, and trying to help them find their passion and purpose in life. That's really what we do, and provide them the core educational basis to get there. Finally, tonight, I will say, and I've said this in a couple other meetings, actually, the Edgecombe County School Demerger Community Redistricting Working Group I spoke to a few weeks ago, and I ended the conversation with this. It takes all of us working together to provide a great education for our students. And we're very fortunate to have great partners from our parents and community businesses, for the commissioners, community college, who we're very fortunate. We're one of the few districts in the state, quite frankly, and probably the only district our size in the state to have two early colleges. We have an early college in the Tarboro campus and Edge Academy of Health Sciences here at this beautiful campus. And it really makes a world of difference for students. Our community college, our early college in Tarboro is piloting something right now where they're actually trying to measure in a leadership academy there. They're trying to measure durable skills that students have. Now think about that. We're trying to certify durable skills for students so they're prepared for society and the workforce development. And we're beta testing a program to measure that for students to make sure they have what they need when they leave. It's in the very initial phases. We're very excited to be a part of that, but we're very grateful to be working with some of the same groups I mentioned before to do that. We have great people in great schools and great students who do lots of great things and great staff. So we are not perfect, and we have a lot more work to do. But there's one key thing that we always say. We know we have more work to do. And we have a plan in place to make things better for our schools and our students, which we believe in turn impacts our community. So I just want to thank all the parents who support us. We have a great sheriff's department who Clay Atkinson and his staff do an awesome job for us in supporting our safety and building relationships with students every day to make sure they're successful. And so many other folks from Boys and Girls Club, communities and schools that do so much for our students after school and support them. So I am honored to be superintendent in Edgecombe County, and I'll take questions if this is the proper time for that, Mr. Evans.
Status of the grant at North Edgecombe to provide students that know.
We're in the process of designing right now. I met with architects last week, and we have some things on the table and trying to make some final decisions in the next couple of months about what that's going to look like. So we're excited about that. And for those of you who don't know, we received a $62 million grant from the state to support that. So sorry, I interrupted you, sir.
Oh, no, but it's still thing.
Yep. So.
I'd like to say something. I participated in the rodeo for the kids, fifth graders. And that was really exciting for me to talk to them about what I do out there at the landfill, manage their school trash. And I asked some of those fifth graders what do they want to be when they grow up, in mind. And I had one to tell me a paleontologist. And I thought fifth grader, that's mighty young, you want to be a paleontologist. But I think somebody said a school bus driver. I had one say he wanted to be a Catholic priest, which was kind of odd. And what was another one that was kind of like way out there, And then we had lawyers and teachers. But that was a good program. And, those who participated, I would love to see more people, more maybe companies or, other people to come and try to do it next year,
We're really trying to build that.
Yes.
And anybody who'd love to volunteer and be a part of that, we would love to have it. Everybody in here, a lot of people in here know this already, but I have lots of advisory groups. Parents, teachers, class size staff, students, parents, talk to lots of community members. But I have to say, the group that I like to meet with the most are students. And I have advisory groups of about 200 students that I meet with at the high school and middle school level. We meet probably 4 times a year. And you would be so, as citizens of Edgecombe County, you'd be so pleased to hear the conversations that they bring to the table and how articulate they are, as you experience that as well.
Right.
And they tell you what their hopes, dreams, and aspirations are. And I love talking with them. And they are almost 99% of the time spot on with their observations and analysis. And, just very appreciative for what they do. And I can go on and on about that, but I'll stop.
There in the co-op program in the high school, kids go out and work and your brain gain code.
Yes, ma'am. I apologize for not mentioning this because I should about the workforce development. But we do a lot with job shadowing, internships, and pre-apprenticeships. And we've been able to expand that a lot. North Edgecombe High School has a program that's designed around something called Big Picture Learning, which talks about them going out and having that workforce development, that career experience, and then matching that with classroom experience. Co-op is very similar to that, and it provides that job shadowing and internship opportunity. And there are lots of businesses around our community that have our students in them right now, who are learning those skills that are important for them. Yes, sir.
Again, on the North Edgecombe project, you still got the 62 million and still gonna be a K-12 project?
We're working on the budget because of tariffs and different things. We're going to see where it can take us to, and they're in the process of designing right now, trying to make sure, see what we can get out of all the money we have.
So you talk about having school personnel and school counseling. What does that look like qualification wise? Because what I've seen online and what a counselor is supposed to do and have educational wise do not line up. So how is that gap being met in order to provide services for students?
I think what I can do is get you the qualifications for it and make sure that's in line with what you're asking for. If I can see afterwards, and I'll make sure you have that.
Thanks.
I'd like to introduce the greatest community college president in the state of North Carolina. Dr. McLeod, I turned over to you. Thank you. Been a great partner. Thank you.
Before you begin.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Superintendent.
We'll come back at the end. That's we're gonna have a question at the end.
All right, good evening. How are you all doing? All right, it's great to be here. So last week when Mr. Evans called me and invited me to come, I was like, okay, cool, I'll come and check it out. And he said, and if you have a few words to say, I said, okay, well, in my mind, provide a welcome and talk about the campus here. And then I come in here and I look at this agenda and I see Dr. Greg McLeod, 6:40 p.m. I said, okay. So I wrote a few notes, and thankfully for you all, only took 1 page of notes that I wrote down. All right, so just bear with me, and I'll certainly entertain any questions for you all. So welcome to the Rocky Mountain campus. I don't know if this is anybody's first time back in this room, or back in this room since we renovated it. Doesn't it look nice? Y'all like it? Absolutely. We're trying to do some good things here and on the Tarboro campus, and certainly do right by you all and all of our students. So in addition to this room, I don't know if you came in through the middle doors of this building or if you came in through the end, but if you do get a chance before you leave, if you did not see it, when you go back out these doors, if you turn to the right and go down the hallway, we are just about finished renovating our student lounge. And if you've ever been in it before, we have pretty much doubled the space. And so we're very excited about it. And come November, we don't have an exact date because the furniture is on back order. Y'all know how that happens, right? We will open that up and we're going to have hot food for breakfast and lunch available here on this campus. And if you live around here, you're welcome to come and patronize the services here. We're excited for that. And again, I don't have an exact date, but it will be in early November. And so we're very excited about that. And by the way, if you did not know, we do have hot food on the Tarboro campus provided by Cam's. Y'all know Cam's food truck. They have Cam's couple food trucks, but they also provide food on our Tarboro campus, and we're looking forward to them doing the same on this campus. So we're excited about that. In addition to that, we've been very busy at the college on both campuses, so I'm going to share with you all some of the other updates we've had for this campus. And by the way, I hope you all didn't have any trouble parking, but know that we are in the middle of our fall semester. We do have evening classes, so if you had a little trouble, I'm sorry, but hopefully you did find a spot. And of course, amidst the renovations that we're doing. But here on this campus, over the last several years, we've done a lot of updating to our various rooms in this building. We also fully renovated our barbering building. If you know, the smaller building up by the front is our barbering building that has been completely renovated. We have replaced all the carpet in this building. We've renovated a number of rooms. And in addition to the student lounge in this auditorium, we completely renovated our bookstore. So if you're here during the day, we welcome you to come and check it out. You might say, why would I come to a bookstore? Well, we transformed it, and then we no longer call it a bookstore. I just said it just for your benefit, but it's now called a campus store. So we have quite a few different offerings there, just about for anybody. So come check that out. And on top of that, we renovated our library, and not just on this campus, but also on the Tarboro campus. Other things that we have going on, we recently completed a facilities master plan. We realized we cannot stay stagnant. We cannot rest on our laurels. We said we need to look for the future to see what we need to do to keep our services top notch as well as our facilities. So we completed that over last school year, and we're looking at doing a number of things to expand our services, but expand our programs for all of our students and for the community. So hopefully, we'll be able to realize some of those things. You know, in most master plans, you may not be able to do everything, but it's kind of like your wish list is your guidebook for future expansion for your campuses. So we're hoping that it's going to allow us to do some things such as expanding our welding. Welding is very popular. Welding, construction, automotive programs on our Tarboro campus. We did, as I just mentioned, with barbering here, we were able to renovate that space. That allowed us to expand that as well. Here on this campus, we were able to expand some of our health programs. You all know, even though we are an open door institution, students who are older, students who are younger, students who are still in high school, we welcome them all here. But some of our programs are not open to anybody because they're limited seats. So I'm sure you've heard of that. There are programs, many of which are our healthcare programs, have limited access, such as nursing. But I'm pleased to share with you all that we looked at the fact that we know there's a high demand in our healthcare sector, and so we wanted to do all we can and continue to do what we can to help expand our services. So, for example, with nursing, we have traditionally served 40 students per class, so that's 80 nursing students at a time. In our RN program, I'm not talking about LPN and CNA, but just in our RN program, 40 students per class, 80 students total, but we were able to expand starting with this year's newly admitted class, expanding that to 50 students per class, which is 100 total. So we're very pleased with that. But then also we have other programs, respiratory, surgical technology, EMS, radiography, and a few more that all have expanded by at least a seat or two, if not by double digits, those programs. So we're pleased to do that. And we could not do that without the help of our healthcare partners. So we appreciate all of the clinical spaces that we're able to have in our community, as far and wide as Raleigh, all the way back to Greenville and everywhere in between. So we're pleased with that. Also, in case you all did not know, we started a new academic program this past year, Applied Engineering Technology, because we know our business partners, our manufacturers, they need all the help that they can get, and they want the best help possible, right? And we want to make sure we prepare our students the very best that they can be. so that they can not only survive, but to what? Thrive. Absolutely. And so that's what we're all about here. And so the Applied Engineering Technology is one of our new programs that we have added to the set of different programs that we offer at the college. And so we're happy to have that. With that program, we have some very strong partnerships. So you can imagine that we have a number of engineering related partnerships with ECU. So we do. And so we're pleased to have that partnership going strong. And for some of you Wolfpack fans, I'm looking at one right now, Mr. Kaiser, we will be joining the Wolfpack Connect program. I'm sure you may have heard of that about a month ago when they announced that NC State is going to start offering a guaranteed transfer opportunity for North Carolina community college students to go into one of their many select programs at NC State. So as soon as that was announced, I got a whole bunch of phone calls and text messages regarding that. And certainly we have signed on the dotted line, and we're excited to start that in the upcoming school year. And we'll be announcing a big celebration and doing kind of like a signing ceremony with that. But to not be outdone by them, if you did not know, ECU has had a program called the Pirate Promise Program, and maybe you know somebody who took advantage of that. And so we've been a partner of the ECU Pirate Promise Program for a number of years. When NC State announced their Wolfpack Connect program, I immediately reached out to all of the four-year institutions in our area, and I asked them, each one of them, would they be willing to partner with us in doing a similar program at their institution to further expand the educational opportunities for our community. And so they were very happy to do that. And so I'm looking forward to signing agreements very soon with Barton College. We already have one with Wesleyan. It's called the Wesleyan Works Program, but in talking with the leadership there, they are willing to tweak and expand their program to provide some similar opportunities that the Wolfpack Connect program and the ECU Pirate Promise program will offer as well. And then also Elizabeth City State University, they're working on a similar program to do with ECC. All right, so I'm excited about that. And if there's any other folks in the, any other alums of, say, Fayetteville State, North Carolina A&T, we already have partnership programs with them as well. Not quite like the ECU Pirate Promise program, but be assured that I will be reaching out to them as well. Also, just a few other notes. Just want to share our enrollment here is healthy. In fact, we are up 10% in headcount from this time last year. Compared to last fall, we are up 10%. And so we're very pleased to see these students take advantage of it. And in one area where we're really seeing a lot of strong growth is in our partnership with the school system. In fact, our high water mark, just when I first got here at the college, we were serving maybe around 300 students max in dual enrollment at ECC. Those are dual enrollment students who are in high school taking advantage of the free or free to them education at the community college. And then just 2 years ago, we hit the high water mark of about 450. And then last year, and now we're serving over 600 students in high schools locally taking advantage of dual enrollment. So if you know a young person in high school who is not taking advantage of it, please encourage them to do so. Even if they're not thinking about college right now, maybe they're thinking about the military or some other pathway, why not take advantage of free community college, right? It makes a whole lot of sense. So just want to share that. We're really big on the student experience. I'm a big believer in why not offer them the most well-rounded, engaged experience possible. I don't want students to feel like they're waiting until they transfer to the four-year institution to have a wonderful college experience. And so we're doing everything we can, not just in the classroom to provide the high-quality experience and engaged experience, but also outside the classroom. So if you have not been on our Tarboro campus lately, encourage you to come out and check it out. We have opened up brand new spaces right in the McIntyre building. One, for example, is a new esports program. So we have a whole room kitted out with a lot of gaming consoles. So we have gaming computers, we have Xboxes, PlayStations, and Nintendo Switches, and we have an advisor who's leading the way. Starting next year, we're going to be offering esports scholarships to students coming in, and it's a big industry. You know, I don't know if you all realize that, but it's a big industry. And if I can entice young people to go to college by playing video games, I'm going to do it. So, of course, I'm going to make sure they're in their classes, right? But not only is it just a fun thing to do, but they can learn a lot in esports. They learn about technology. They learn about communication. They learn about they learn a lot of durable skills as well, working in teams and in other capacities. I'm hearing some people interested in esports. Is that what I'm hearing over there? In addition to that, we also have a new wellness space on campus, and we have some other student life and leadership suite, and we're working on some of those things on this campus as well. So we're excited about that. On the community side, last week, I don't know if you saw it in the news, but we had a part-time job fair. When we have job fairs at the college, they're not just for our students. They're for the entire community. That is a service that we do for the community. And you all probably already know, typically in March, we have a big job fair. And typically when we have that, the line is wrapped around the building. So I don't have the data in front of me right now, but please keep tabs of our social media feeds as well as our website for that information. And we'll certainly communicate with any of you who ask me to keep you posted on that. If you did not know, we're working with the Upper Coastal Plain Council of Governments on a digital literacy initiative. So they got a grant and they're partnered with us to provide computer literacy through this platform called North Star. And Ms. Putty, I'm sure you're dialed into that. And that is targeting people in our community who are unemployed or underemployed, as well as some other different populations. And so what they gain is they go through a series of courses learning about different aspects of computer technology, software, and things like that. And those who successfully complete, they get a free laptop at the end. Do you qualify? If you live in Eastern North Carolina, you qualify. Y'all live in Eastern North Carolina? Okay, so I did say unemployed, underemployed, but one category is also if you live in a rural community. Do you qualify? Okay, so if you're interested, because I reached out to Latasha, and she said, yes, she still has seats. We have a number of classes that are still available. And so I asked her for her permission to invite y'all to contact her if you're interested. She has a class starting this Wednesday at 11 o'clock. And they go on for several weeks. So you do have to be committed, not like every day, but she can give you the details. That one's going to start at St. Mark right here, church right here in Rocky Mount. They're also going to begin classes at Tarboro High, as well as Southwest. Those will probably be afternoon, evening. I don't have a start date for those. She's going to start another class the second week in November at the Rocky Mount Housing Authority. And I think she said, Mr. Macklin, that we just completed a class.
That's correct.
Okay, so we're excited about that. And she said maybe this week, I don't know, tomorrow or maybe this week, we're going to be celebrating those graduates in your first class that did the North Star Digital Literacy. So if y'all don't know, Mr. Macklin back there who runs the Rocky Mount Housing Authority, so great partner of ours as well. So thank you, sir. And then I think she said she's waiting on one more organization to help set up, and they're going to begin classes at Thorns Chapel Missionary Baptist Church as well. Okay, and then another class right at Rocky Mount Housing Authority as well. So very excited about that. And what else? Two more things. So we do have, I don't know if you're going to talk about Edgecombe Works, initiative, but we have had for the last 2 years and now into our third year. We're excited to have the Edgecombe Works partnership with the county, led by Mr. Evans and his brilliance behind this. And what that is, that offers support to our county residents to take advantage of college classes, both on the curriculum college credit earning side, but then also on the non-credit side. So you can earn up to $500 to go towards the cost of doing a short-term training non-credit class. And there's a list of different classes. We have a webpage for it. If you go to our website, edgecombe.edu, click on the link that says community, then you'll see Edgecombe Works Promise Program, and then you'll see the list of classes. And there's a number of them. It could be small engine repair. It could be something else in automotive. It could be a construction academy, forklift training, things like that. We have a number of those. And then also on the college credit side, that program offers up to $1,000 per semester to help support students pursuing college credit classes leading to a diploma or degree or certificate. So we're very excited about that. That funding also helps to support, just FYI, some newer workforce training programs that we were able to do together to help really contribute in our mind to the Get Off the List initiative. And so we're excited about that. So please be on the lookout come March and April. We should be announcing on our website, and you can reach out to me and others about what summer programs we'll have. And these are geared towards either recent graduates or high school grads who are about to graduate this upcoming year. And then also some programs are for rising seniors. And these workforce training programs range from a health careers academy. So we have a health careers academy right on this campus in the land building, and that exposes students to all the different health careers that not only we offer, but are offered in the area, including at Wesleyan and Nash Community College and elsewhere, because we want students to really know the wealth and breadth of the different healthcare programs that are out there. It's a lot of young people, when I run into them, all they know about is nurses and doctors. They don't know about all the other healthcare programs that are out there. And when they apply to our nursing program, it's a lot of applicants for it with only a few seats. As I told you, it's only 50 seats now. We still get more applicants than we can take in nursing. So we don't want it to be a student then trying to go to plan B. They don't even know what that plan B is. So we want to educate them before that. In addition to that, we have others. We have a Working Edge Academy that we offer in the early summer, and that helps students get some critical certificates under their belt, the Working Smart curriculum, so that's a certification, as well as OSHA 10. I don't know if you've heard of OSHA before, but that is for workplace health and safety. So when a student takes advantage of that 12-hour program, they're learning about all the different ways of maintaining health and safety in the workplace. That is very valuable for an employer, so they like that. And then lastly, I just want to share with you all that I saw when I came in our executive assistant, Stacy, but she's not in here. I don't see her in here. Was she out there, Miss Viola? She was out there, but if you do see her, please know that she's helping to lead two things for us. One is we're about to start a new volunteer program. So if any of you are interested in helping the college be all it can be and to help serve our students, I want you to please reach out to Ms. Staten. You can email her at statens@edgecombe.edu. And hopefully by January, we will launch our new volunteer program, and you all can help out with some of the exciting things we have going on for our students. And then secondly, I started a couple months ago a set of meetings that occur once a month, and you all are welcome to come out to it. It's called our Community Connections gatherings. It is the second Tuesday of each month, starting at 9 o'clock, typically on the Tarboro campus. And I know Mr. Evans attends, and we have other elected officials as well as county and town managers who attend and other people. But it's just a casual way where we can kind of talk about the different opportunities that our college can do with you all and our nonprofit organizations that help support our community. And so please reach out to Stacy if you're interested in getting an invite to come to that. Because of the holidays coming and some travels that I have, we may have to postpone the next one for a couple months, but I'll be excited to have you all there with us. All right, that's all I wrote down. That might be enough for y'all. I don't know. So, thank you all. Any questions? Yes, ma'am.
Yes, because ECC going to expand programs offered? Because in my work, I've recently ran across some people that wanted to go to community college for certain programs, but those programs are not offered in Edgecombe County. So they're looking at having to try to move to go receive those educational programs.
Well, we are limited to 2-year programs or less. So associate degrees, 1-year certificates, and short-term certificates as well, and 1-year diplomas. For the most part, we're flexible enough to offer just about anything on the non-credit side, but then most people want something for credit that they can maybe transfer elsewhere. But on the credit side, if it's within a 2-year footprint, then we can pretty much offer it, but there are some specialized programs that we cannot just offer just because we want to. If there's not enough global demand, then sometimes we have to ask permission to start those programs if, say, Nash or Pitt or Martin already offers it. So, for example, Nash and Martin community colleges, they offer a physical therapy assistant program. Well, we're right in between the two of them. We can't just start a PTA program because there's not enough extra demand beyond what they're already providing, okay? And we don't want to mess them up either, right? But we are working on a transfer agreement where Martin Community College will offer every admission cycle 1 or 2 seats. I'm not sure which one we're going to end up getting for any of our students who want to go into their PTA program. Will be given a guaranteed seat. So we do those kind of things, and we do that a lot. So Pitt Community College, even as big as they are, they have one with us where we give 2 seats to their students who are interested in our surgical technology degree program. Because, again, same thing with supply and demand, but then also the cost of a surgical technology degree program is very expensive. And so all the 58 colleges could not afford to run that kind of program. So it really depends on that scenario. Okay. But if you have specifics, we can talk afterwards. Okay. Any other questions? You do? Okay, go ahead.
I asked a lot of questions. Has ECC thought about partnering with the Edgecombe County Sheriff to offer those that have been arrested in low-level crimes some type of education or job training to help decrease the recidivism in Edgecombe County?
Right. So we could technically do that. So our community colleges do have the opportunity to provide education and training within our jails and prisons across the state. Nash does it right now with Nash Correctional. However, the challenge at a jail, because it's so short term, is being able to have somebody start and finish what they start. And so you don't have a lot of schools that have programs, at least programs that lead to credentials in a jail setting. They might have like a non-credit, very short term, 1 day, 1 week type of program. But we could certainly look at that. I certainly know Sheriff Atkinson. I can have that conversation with him. And so thank you. I appreciate that. And we do have connections with him otherwise. So we can investigate that. Absolutely. Thank you. Any other questions? Okay. All right. Any other questions? All right. Thank you all. Appreciate it. And again, welcome to ECC.
Again, thank you to Dr. McLeod and Dr. Bryan. You know, we could have invited a number of partners here tonight, and certainly we wouldn't want to keep you here all night. But the reason that we invited these two gentlemen, as I mentioned earlier, our Board of Commissioners determined one of their priorities was compensation for our staff. The other priority was education. And so we work very well together. They're great partners, and I hope they feel that we are good partners with them as well. I do want to recognize Commissioner Evelyn Powell, who's here tonight. Thank you, Ms. Powell. She was not here earlier to introduce herself, so just want to recognize you here tonight, ma'am. I'm going to shift here for a moment. And while I'm pulling this up, I want to remind you that if you didn't notice on your way in, on your way out, be sure to visit our tables. A number of our departments have brought information here, flyers and what have you that you can take with you. We're also, our health department is offering flu shots tonight. If you haven't gotten your flu shot, you should get your flu shot before you leave. They brought new and fresh needles ready for you, and they're the kind that don't hurt that much, is what I've been told. Y'all didn't believe that, I don't think. Chairman Wiggins reminded me, and I appreciate him reminding me of this, earlier when I was talking about the overhaul of our compensation plan. Our compensation plan is broader than just the salaries that we pay. It also includes the health insurance that we provide. We provide employer-based health insurance to all of our staff members. Health insurance, as it has for every other organization that provides it, has gotten more and more expensive over the years, as it has for us. We pay for every full-time employee approximately $14,000 a year just for health insurance. We are self-insured, so all of our claims come out of our health insurance fund. I think we provide a pretty good health insurance package. I'm sure all of us would love for it to be a little bit more better and pay a little bit more. But we're proud to be able to offer the health insurance package that we offer. We are also one of the few remaining employers even in local government that still provides health insurance to our retired employees. If they have 30 years in the system, we provide health insurance for them at no cost until they turn age 65. That's getting to be a shorter and shorter list, and we want to continue to be able to do that as long as we can so that we can be as competitive as we can. Yes. Also, our monthly, what we pay, in this area, we pay about $350 more per employee than employers in this area. So we have, I would say, a better insurance for employees. And we just like for the public to understand that that's part of the pay plan, and that's part of this package that we give our employees that we want to. Gotcha. Thank you, Mr. Wickett. So I want to talk some now, as you see on your agenda, county successes and future opportunities. I want to start off by talking about this initiative that we call Getting Off the List. Some of you, maybe many of you, have heard about this before. So if you have, it's good that you're hearing about it again, because I want you to know this is still important to the county. If it's your first time hearing it, I'm glad that you're here to hear about what we're doing. So what is Getting Off the List? Hopefully all of you had the chance to know and meet Mr. Carmen. He was our former county manager. Mr. Carmen used to often talk about these lists that we find ourselves on here in Edgecombe County. Mr. Carmen was manager for 14 years. He did a fantastic job of leading our organization. He did a tremendous job of building the capacity of our organization so that we can provide those services that I talked about earlier when I was standing here at the podium, to the point that we're able to do that as our day job, we call it, but also take on such a bold and ambitious endeavor, such as getting off the list. And Mr. Carmen used to say he was sick and tired of Edgecombe County being at the top and bottom of those lists. And so we've taken that sentiment from Mr. Carmen and we've decided we're going to get off of those lists. If not get off the list, at least get to a better place on those lists. Now, I always have to be careful and very purposeful in how I talk about this, because I don't want it to seem, as I talk about these challenging statistics, that paints a picture of Edgecombe County being a bad county, because we're not a bad county. This is a wonderful county. I grew up and lived most of my life in Halifax County, right next door, but I'm an Edgecombe County resident now. Been living here for 10 years now, and my family and I love being here in Edgecombe County. Been working here for almost 24 years. It is a wonderful county. It is a great place to be. I believe it's a great place to live, to work, to do business here. But also we have some challenges, and I look at it as like we as individuals, we are all good people. We are all upstanding citizens that have goodness inside of us. But maybe we have some of our own challenges. Maybe you go to the doctor and the doctor, takes your weight or your blood pressure and draws some blood and has that talk with you and say, look, you've got some things that you've got to work on. It does not mean that you are not a good person. It just means that you've got some things to work on. This is a good county, but we also have to be honest with ourselves. We have some things, some challenges that we need to be aware of so that we can work on those things. So where do we start when we talk about those lists that Mr. Carmen used to refer to? There are a number of lists. What we decided to do was almost 3 years ago now, we sat down and went through what is called the County Health Rankings and Roadmaps. It is a document that is published by the University of Wisconsin, their Population Health Institute, every year. They pull from a list of statistics for every county across the country, and they use that to rank each county against the other counties in that state. And so when we first looked at this in 2023, our ranking in Edgecombe County was 99 out of 100 counties. And that's unacceptable. Because this is a good county, but we've got some serious issues that we need to face and that we need to address. So what we did was we invited a number of people to the Carmen Auditorium. Actually, is fitting that we had that meeting in the auditorium in our county building in Tarboro, named after Mr. Carmen. And we combed through this document. We went through all of the statistics in this document. Many of you were participated in that. And we looked at statistics like that you see here. And any of you that you're certainly county employees, or you do any kind of community work, or you're engaged in any way, you've seen some of these before, right? You've seen, we've got low birth weights. You've seen about our STD rates. We don't have enough physicians here in the county. We're sharing too many people are sharing too few physicians in the county. We have high poverty. In fact, we are one of 14 counties in this state that has consistently high poverty. Then, of course, one we pay a great deal of attention to, and that is our unemployment rate. And this is just some of the lists from that document, not all of them. But so these are challenges that we need to face. We have to be honest with ourselves and face these, but we have to get past just talking about them. I'm sure all of you have been in meetings where these topics have come up, and everybody gets riled up and talk about how bad this is. We got to do something about it, and we leave and never do anything about it. We need to do something about it, and we have to work together to do something about these things. They do not fix themselves. We can't just say, oh, let's just wait it out. It'll get better. Let's give it 5 years, 10 years. These things won't fix themselves. We have to fix them. So another one of what we refer to as the big list is regarding our population. We are one of 22 counties in North Carolina with a declining population. You'll see those declining numbers over the years there. And a county cannot thrive if its population is declining. So we've got to do something about that. So how do you do that? I mean, what do you do? I mean, these are generational issues. These problems been around long before many of us how do we tackle it? Well, I will say, first of all, there is no manual that we, downloaded off the internet and said, this is how you change the future of the county. So we weren't sure, but we had some ideas. So we decided, well, first we need to narrow our focus down. There are just too many things. We could be too scattered and not really make any impact. So we need to narrow our focus, and we've selected focus areas. And then we are working under the thought, the idea, the hypothesis that we don't think that is the case. It's not the case that people aren't doing the right things. There are lots and lots of people that get up and go out and work hard every day who are doing the right things, including our staff, our partners, many outside agencies, and others. People are doing the right thing. We believe we're just not doing enough of it. There are lots of wonderful programs and services out there that work. We're just not doing enough of it. So our approach is we want to build what we call a support framework or a support structure around those existing efforts. If we can support them and help them to increase their positive outputs, and if we sustain that over time, we feel like that we will get off of those lists. I always like to use the Boys and Girls Club as an example. They are a partner of ours, probably a partner of many of you in here. Everybody knows who the Boys and Girls Club is and what they do. The Boys and Girls Club, they've been around for over 100 years. They have evidence-based programs that they use, and they work. Boys and Girls Club they have their base of operations here in Rocky Mount. They have the clubs that are scattered throughout the Twin Counties. Here in Rocky Mount, they have one in Tarboro. And what they do, it works well. If you've never been to one of their clubs, you should go. These kids are learning, they are growing, they are thriving. We just need to figure out, okay, how do we help them to serve more kids? How do we help them to do more of what they're already doing? So that's just an example, and that's our approach with getting off the list. These are our 4 focus areas. You see, it's affordable, safe housing, health equity, youth and family supports, and education and workforce development. So we have identified every what we call existing effort under those 4 focus areas. We want to know who's already doing work in these 4 areas. And that list actually is old right there on that slide. It's much longer, and I couldn't fit it all up there if I wanted to. But we wanted to identify everybody that's doing work in those 4 focus areas. So now we're working to build this support framework around those that are doing the good work. And you see what those support structure elements are. Now, in order to do this, we needed to create the organizational structure to be able to take on this type of initiative. As I said, we've got to do our day job. Us and our staff, all of our departments, we still have to provide our services every day. So in order to take this on, we needed to create the support framework. So our Board of Commissioners who believed in this initiative and still believe in this initiative, they created 4 advisory boards, 1 for each of the 4 focus areas. There are 12 seats for each of the 4 focus areas. And they're prescribed depending on the focus area. We want to make sure that the right organizations are represented adequately on these advisory boards. These boards meet generally every month, and they're made up. There are folks in here. If you serve on one of our advisory boards, raise your hand. I know you 2 gentlemen do. Who else in here serves? I see some other hands in the back. We have 4 of our staff that are liaisons to each of the 4 advisory boards. And then under that, we have what we call the community groups. There's a larger group of people who are interested in what we're doing. They all can't fit on an advisory board, but we check in with the larger community group at least twice a year to try to make sure that we're going in the right direction. So that is ongoing. Those advisory boards have been meeting. They've identified priorities, and they're starting to mobilize to bring support around these existing efforts. Now, along with that, it was important for us as the county that we do our part and make sure that we invest our funds strategically, your funds strategically. So not only did we want to start this initiative and organize the advisory boards and all of that, we wanted to make sure that we were making strategic investments in this effort to get off of these lists. So some of the things we've been doing that we call leading with action, one of the things that we've done is that with our discretionary funds, there are some funds for outside agencies. I showed you that slide earlier. There are some funds to outside agencies we are required to provide, either by state statute or by some agreement that we have. But then we have funded a number of nonprofits, mostly, that the board does not have to, but they've chosen to. 2 years ago, we decided that money is very limited. So let's make sure that we strategically invested in this getting off the list initiative. So what we did was we went out with a request for proposals. We invited organizations and we said, if you do work in one or more of these 4 focus areas, apply for funding. We had a block of $200,000. An organization could apply for up to $25,000. So this is a picture of a number of the organizations that were funded our first year doing this last year. Boys and Girls Club, Down East Partnership for Children, Hill Family Farm, Turning Point Workforce Development Board. A number of organizations were funded through that. So that's one of the things we're doing in what we call leading by action. The other thing that we did was we realized that one of the most challenging lists that we have, that we showed you in that slide just a moment ago, is the fact that we consistently have one of the highest unemployment rates in the state. As you would understand, if a family does not have gainful and consistent income, it affects many other of those lists that you saw. And so we had Dr. Jonathan Morgan from the UNC School of Government that did a study for us a few years ago to look at what the primary causes of our consistently high unemployment. And one of the things that they identified was what they call the lack of personal and professional networks. In other words, folks who don't know the right people to know about the resources that are available to them or the jobs that might be available to them. So what we did was we created this position we call a career navigator, and we hired the best career navigator that we've ever met. She's our first one, but she's the best ever. We know that without a doubt. You met her earlier. I'm going to ask her to raise her hand, Miss Tracy Putty. She's our career navigator, and she's been out there working hard. Her job is every day to find unemployed folks in Edgecombe County and help them find their way around the maze of resources and opportunities so that they can either get the job that they want or get the training that they need so that they can get the job that they want. She has some flyers out at the table. If you know someone that could use her services, make sure that you speak with her before you go. Dr. McLeod mentioned the Edgecombe Works Promise program. He was in my office one day and said, Eric, you'll be surprised how many folks that they may get scholarship, Pell Grant, or something, and they still are left with a relatively small financial gap. And for some people, it's just enough that they either start, don't finish, or they never start. And so he and I determined that day, let's do something about that. Again, grateful to our Board of Commissioners who believed in strategically investing in these funds for that program that he described earlier. He also talked about these other Edgecombe Works programs. I will mention that some of these are for our staff. For example, the Edgecombe Works Academy, the second one from the right, that's a training program primarily for our employees. Remember I showed you earlier, we try to compensate them as best as we can, train them as well as we can. So we've tried to create new training opportunities for our staff. And again, thankful for the partnership with the community college. And we're real excited about this. This building is here in Rocky Mount. It's out at Fountain Park. Some of you may remember it was the Edgecombe Industrial Incubator. It's been there for about 20 years or so. Over some time, it became vacant. This building was built by Vision for Miss Joyce Dickens, Rocky Mount Edgecombe Community Development Corporation right here in Rocky Mount. She built that building as a small business incubator. She had some larger tenant anchors in there. Over the last few years, the building became vacant. And having conversation with Miss Dickens, we had the opportunity to purchase that. Again, through a partnership with the community college. It was a grant that they had in hand that needed to be repurposed, and we were able to repurpose it to purchase that building. We now call it the Edgecombe Works Career Campus. It is a fantastic building. Our board agreed for us, the county, to own the building and handle the carrying costs for that building. And we want to make it available as a tool to all of our partners who are out here helping our residents, Edgecombe County folks, to get training that they need and to get the jobs that they want for their families. So we've had something of a soft launch of that building a few months ago. Some of the pictures you'll see down at the bottom, OIC of Rocky Mount here, they did a summer youth camp out there, is what they call STREAM. Did some training with kids, some of our EMS staff using it for some training. Some of our other staff members have used it. The community college have used it. We're still working on our plan, building out our plan. But if you are engaged in any way in workforce development and you see that this facility could be of some use to you, I want you to let me know that. So we're very excited about that building. So outside of getting off the list and that work, and it's very important work, if you're not engaged in it already, we invite you to join us in that effort, because we truly believe that we're going to change the future of our county. Some other successes, Dr. Bryant gave you a report from the school system. As you know, we went through county line merger of the school system, so now the students here in Rocky Mount Edgecombe side some have already transitioned. Those in high school are now transitioning over to Edgecombe County Schools. We're excited about that. He talked about the North Edgecombe Capital Project. That's a really big deal for us. We're grateful to get that grant funding from the state through the lottery funds. It does require a 5% match, so the county would have to put on the table around about $3.2 million to get the $62 million, but we're excited to partner with the school system for that. It's sort of a back office thing, and maybe some people don't notice it, but it's a big deal for us. Our bond rating improved. We were single A, now we are double A. That helps us get better interest rates and more favorable terms when we have to borrow money, but it takes a lot of work to be able to move from that one step to another. And it speaks to the financial stability of the county, and we're very proud of that. And you got a chance to meet Ms. Barfield earlier, who introduced herself. She's the tip of that spear, but it's work from all across our county organization. We're super proud of that. We have started a county-run firefighter team. Our board has had some concerns for a number of years for the level of fire protection available at Kingsborough Business Park. It's served by a volunteer fire department. They do a wonderful job, but as you would imagine, once this park is fully built out, and we believe that it will be, that it's going to take some additional resources. We had the misfortune of QVC, that facility, burning down, I guess, almost 3 years ago now. But because of that, we were able to get some grant money from the state. We purchased some fire trucks and some other equipment, and we've created 2 firefighter positions with the county. Their primary role is first responding and assisting at Kingsborough, but outside of that, they're able to provide assistance to all of our volunteer fire departments across the county. As I'm sure you know, one of the challenges that not just in Edgecombe is facing with other counties is that volunteer fire department roles are starting to decrease across the state, particularly during the day when folks are working. Some local departments struggle more than others with getting enough folks to be able to respond to fire. So our team, they're able to help to supplement that service. We started a Parks and Recreation department. It is a department of one person. His name is Kelvin Jones. This was part of our comprehensive Parks and Recreation plan that the board adopted about 5 years ago. We're starting to slowly build some momentum with partnering with other organizations in the county to offer more parks and recreational opportunities. We've talked already about the grant for North Edgecombe School project. Future opportunities. Chairman Wiggins mentions this often, especially here recently. And he's been on the board for a long time, and he's been able to see, the full landscape. I think we are seeing more growth opportunities in Edgecombe County. I won't say ever, but certainly in a very long time. We're seeing that show up primarily in a couple of ways. Number one is with new housing development. Right now, we have over 600 new unit opportunities that are in some stage of approval, whether it be they've gotten their zoning approved, they've got plans on the desk being reviewed, or in some cases they're under construction. That includes single-family housing as well as multi-family housing. And I can't remember the last time, if ever, we've had that many housing units coming into the pipeline in a relatively short period of time. That speaks of growth for Edgecombe County. Remember that big list that I showed you on that slide earlier? That we are one of 22 counties with a declining population. This speaks to growth in Edgecombe County. Another thing that we're seeing growth opportunities in is with economic development. I'm sure some of these announcements have been made sort of quietly. These companies are just expanding and not saying a whole lot about it. But ABB in Pine Tops, they're doing a $25 million expansion, creating another 35 to 40 jobs. Amazon in Tarboro is now open. They've invested approximately 5 million jobs. The number of $5 million in investment, the number of jobs, we've not been able to put a pin in exactly. We think it'd be at least 50 jobs, but maybe more. I will tell you that my wife is super happy because now many of her packages show up in one day. And so she's super excited about that. Prudent Steel is also at Tarboro Business Park, just in front of Amazon. They are still working. That was the shell building that the town of Tarboro built. They bought that, and they're building that out. About $9 million investment. Not sure of how many jobs they're creating. Now, we did get some sad and unfortunate news about a month ago, I guess. Natron Energy, which had announced that they were going to build a factory at Kingsborough Business Park, creating about 1,000 jobs. That company announced that not only is the project folding, but the company was folding. It was a startup, and even a startup that's got a really good project and a product in hand is very hard to make that work. So they couldn't get their financing together. But we have other very promising prospects on the table, all of which we can't, talk about publicly at this point, but we're hopeful. There are so many that we've got to land one, even if it's just by mistake. Well, I said to the team, you ever seen videos of folks going down a river in a boat, and I don't know what kind of fish it is, but fish just jumping out of the water? That's what these projects are doing, and one of them has got to land in this boat, even if it's by mistake. So we're hopeful and very excited about these opportunities for growth. Also, some of you have been engaged in some of these processes. We have been doing some work on our solar farm ordinance and also presenting for consideration to the board an amendment to our development ordinance for data centers. Edgecombe County, there are more acres in solar farms than any other county in the state. I can't remember how many projects are on the ground right now, but we know about a year or so ago, we had 3 new projects to come before the board, and we heard from you. We heard from our citizens that said, oh, wait a minute. I don't know if we like these things, too many. They're too big. You need to take a second look. And so that's exactly what our board did. Our board passed a moratorium on new solar farm applications. They just a few months ago extended that for another year to give us some time to take another look at those ordinances to see if we want to make some changes. We created a stakeholders group. Some of you participated in that, and we got some really good feedback. Also, now we're getting looks at some companies that want to build data centers in the county. Currently, we do not have a data center in the county, though they are everywhere. They're not new, they're just new to Edgecombe County. And so we wanted to make sure that as we entertain these ideas, that we do that in the best way, considering the interests of you, our citizens. So our team's been doing a lot of work in reviewing recommended language to go into our ordinance that would regulate data centers. Some of you came to a meeting similar to this that we had out at the Ag Center at Kingsborough to talk about that. That will go back before our board at their meeting on Monday with some changes to the original language. So if you're interested in that, I would encourage you to come to the commissioners meeting this coming Monday night at 6 o'clock. Other topics of interest, and I'm going to draw it to a close because we want to hear from you. We want to give you an opportunity to ask some questions or to make some comments. I'm sure all of you have been hearing and watching in the news and on social media about the impacts of the federal shutdown. I'm not here to make a political opinion, take a political position on any of this. I am an appointed official, and my job is to be apolitical. But I also have to be aware of what the impacts could be on our organization as well as on our citizens. And I'm not telling you any new news because, as I said, I'm sure you've seen this in the news and on social media. As it stands right now, notices well, first of all, let me speak about Medicaid. Already in North Carolina, they have cut the Medicaid reimbursement rates. So for providers who get reimbursements or they provide services that are paid for by Medicaid, those rates have been cut somewhere between 3% and 5%. That affects us at county government because, for example, at our health department, we have clients that come in to have Medicaid. It's taken a 3% cut. Medicaid transportation those providers have had to take a cut. We hope that this shutdown doesn't last much longer, but the longer that it lasts, the deeper the impacts will be. The newer and more broader impact of the federal shutdown is with the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, SNAP, or most people know as food stamps. Notification has gone out to recipients that unless the federal government opens back up, there will not be the distribution of SNAP benefits come November. As you would imagine, that's a huge impact across the nation, across this state, and even especially here in Edgecombe County. Our team been working hard to try to make sure that information is out there for other resources, but this is going to have a big impact on the residents in our county that depend on those benefits. So let's all hope and pray that those issues are resolved soon and the federal government opens back up. We have flu shots here, as I mentioned before. Also, those of you who are interested in getting your COVID vaccine from the health department, we just recently got some supply of COVID vaccine. The team they're working on, there's paperwork that they have to do, and hopefully we'll be able to make those COVID vaccinations available soon. We are having a workforce, what we're calling a workforce system improvement forum on November 7th at 10 a.m. We talked about having one of the highest unemployment rates in the state. Our workforce system and our partners in that system are doing a good job. We got to figure out how do we help the system, how do we help the interlocking of those different partners to work better for Edgecombe County residents. So we're inviting partners in the workforce system, including employers, to join us. If you're particularly interested in that, you're welcome to join us. That will be on November 7th at 10 a.m. and it will be at our Edgecombe Works Career Campus. So before I open the floor to questions and comments, I just want to check in with the team. Are any other announcements or upcoming things that folks would be interested in that you'd like to share with the group? Anything else? Okay, now, any questions, comments, feedback, or ways that we can help you better? Yes, ma'am.
So you talked about earlier, the county trying to come off the bad list, and that mainly included things like the health and politics. However, the county is also discussing bringing in data centers. Has county officials considered the environmental and health impact of those data centers on the population of Edgecombe County?
We have, and that's a great question. We have studied that a great deal, and not just through our conversations with the companies. And in case you couldn't quite hear the question was, we're talking about getting off the list, but have we studied the potential impacts of data centers on the population? And so, yes, we've studied that a great deal. Some of the major concerns we've heard from our citizens has been with noise and how much water that they use. One of the things, or what's proposed to the board, I mentioned earlier, we have an amendment to our Unified Development Ordinance text. It's called a text amendment. We are proposing that data centers be permitted in what's called an M2 zone. That is our industrial zone. That is what we call Kingsborough Business Park, and also another tract on the north end of the county, about 300 acres. Those are the only two areas in the county currently zoned as an M2. And so if that's adopted by the board, then a data center will be permitted, but there are development standards. And development standards include setbacks, how close or how far they have to be away from the property line. There are some standards in there about noise. There are maximum limits that they have to be able to prove at the perimeter of the property that the noise does not exceed a certain limit. Regarding water usage, and I'm sure you know that data centers are basically big buildings with a lot of computer servers on racks, and those computer servers run all the time. Because they run all the time, they can get hot, so they have to be kept very cool. And a lot of times they use these systems that use water and other things to keep them cool. So they can use a lot of water. Based on what's been shared with us at the companies that have interest in the county, we have more than enough water capacity at Kingsborough. Currently, we've got about 1 million gallons per day available. We're only using about 200,000 gallons per day. One of the main companies that have been looking at at the county, ESS, and that's public because they've been before the board and all, they're proposing to use about 500,000 gallons per day. We have a project in place that's funded by grant funds that will increase our water capacity to about 4 million gallons per day. So based on the projects that we've talked to, there seems to be enough water capacity. But one of the things that's in that text amendment that's being recommended, it says that if the company comes and wants to build a data center, they have to show us a document where the utility provider, whether it be us for water, whether it be the power company, that document has to attest that the amount of utilities that they need is available to them. So that's one of the checks that we're putting in place.
What about air quality? Because as a environmental social worker and board social worker, one of the things I've researched is the air quality of the places those data centers exist. And the social determinants of health has increased with cardiovascular issues, lung function, things of that nature. How would the county address that so that you won't end up on worse news as far as the population is concerned?
Sure, that's a good question. So most data centers, just your I'll call it your typical data centers. It's the building with the servers, the light flash. You've got air conditioned units like you would have in other big industrial buildings. Now, the challenge with that is not only how much water they use, but how much power that they use. And we've said to companies, we don't want you to come in and plug into the grid and use up all of our power, and then we won't be able to use the rest of the power. So this project in particular is planning to generate their own power by using turbines powered by natural gas. And so, there are state and federal agencies that regulate pollution. If they have to get a permit, they have to get a permit. But also, we've been trying to go and visit a facility that does this. And because it's fairly new, there are none here in North Carolina that's a data center. So that's why Mike and I and a couple other folks got to get up about 2 or 3 o'clock tomorrow morning, and we're getting on a plane to fly for a one-day trip to go look at a project in another state so that we can see a data center that's generating power there on the same site so that we can have those same questions answered for us. So good question. Other questions? Concerns? We take compliments too, by the way. Anybody else? Okay. Well,
questions for me.
Now, it was a question in the statement. He was talking about he loves talking to students. And about 30 years ago, I had a daughter, my oldest daughter lived in Maryland, Maryland. And I used to go to the school board meetings up there. And they have a student on their school board, elected by a group of folks. And I brought it back here and just mention it. But I would love to see that happen one day. He would be on the school board and they get to vote and everything. So I would love to see that here in Edgecombe County. Well, North Carolina. Since we say we love to see this school.
yeah, absolutely. Great. Thank you for that. Appreciate it.
And you can put up on the website.
Okay, good. Thank you. Anybody else? Again, let me just remind you before we go, and I'll let Chairman Wiggins, if you want to have last remarks. I do want to recognize Judge Lamont Wiggins is here in the room. Thank you, sir, for being here. Again, please visit our tables on your way out. We've got some refreshments. If you didn't get any already, please help yourself and take some with you. But be sure to take information with you. We want to serve you well, and we want you to know what resources are available. We don't want there to be a service that could help you and you're just not aware of it. So our staff, they've done a great job of bringing information. Make sure you meet them on your way out. If you've got questions of any of them regarding any of their departments, please be sure to grab them, shake their hand, and ask the questions that you might have. Chairman Wiggins, anything?
You got the last word.
I got the last word. Let me just say on behalf of our staff. Now, I will tell you that this is hard work that we do, but I want you to know we are proud to do it. We are proud to serve you. We really are. This type of work gets harder and harder, but we're happy to do it. And I must say, and I've got to take the liberty to say that I'm very fortunate that I get to work with, I think, the best county staff in all of the state of North Carolina. And I don't have to go and work in other counties to know that to be true. They are fantastic. If you could see them on a daily basis and see what they know, what they can do, and how they serve from the heart, you would be so proud of the folks that work for your county. Again, thank you for being here tonight. We appreciate you coming. I hope you have a safe trip home. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll be about to forget it a long time.
He's so shy.
What year?
He's a self.